Question about a quitclaim deed. We sold our marital house in October. I filed for divorce in November, but there's no orders, no agreements on child support or spousal support. My ex was renting a space and the owner has decided to sell it, and my ex wants to try to buy it. I told him he's not supposed to make any major purchases until the divorce is settled. Today, he's asking if I will consent to have my credit ran and sign a document that removes me from the deed. I told him to have the lender contact me. The lender states they will run my credit outside the file to add any debts in my name to his debt-to-income ratio, but I will not be obligated on the loan at all. Then, at escrow, they want me to sign a quitclaim deed to remove me from the deed. He said the only way the debt will affect me is if I try to get an FHA loan within the next year. It'll show that I have used my FHA eligibility. He kept saying I wouldn't be obligated to the debt in any other way. My ex is shady and heartless. He already screwed me on co-signing a rental for me and our kids, and I'm scared there will be more obligations to this. Does anyone have any experience with this? Hello, my name is Billy Tarasio. I'm an Arizona family law attorney, and this is a tricky legal situation, and I'm glad that you've asked for assistance. I definitely would advise that you look more into the FHA eligibility comment, because that doesn't really make sense to me. But I have some personal experience with this, and I'm just going to share that story. So when I was going through my divorce, I filed in 2017, and we did not get divorced until May of 2019. So it took a long time, and there were a lot of complicated issues. And initially I moved out and I got a rental for me and my 4 kids. And it was a small rental. It was definitely not what we were used to, but it was fine. And it was a year-long lease. And at the end of that year-long lease, I found a house to buy. And I was going to use all of my post-divorce earnings for the house, or certainly be able to divide our assets so that it would not negatively impact him in any way. And he said, sure. So I had the house under escrow, and I had my rental entirely packed up, and my kids and I had gone to this new house and looked at it and picked out whose rooms would be who. And when it came time to close, my ex would not sign the disclaimer deed that he would need to sign. So my choice was buy the house in both of our names, or don't buy the house. It was the lowest moment of my divorce, and there were a lot of low moments, but that was the lowest moment. Housing insecurity. It's a bad thing, and you experienced that when your shady, heartless ex wouldn't co-sign on a rental for you. Housing insecurity. So before you decide not to support him in buying the house, I would urge you to consider that piece. Are your children happy in this house that they share with their dad when they're with him? The credit report is interesting. So I don't know why they have to run your credit report. It makes sense to me that any debts that you have could be attributed to your soon-to-be ex-husband as well. So the lender's gonna want to consider all of those obligations to make sure that he can afford the house. But those debts should show up on his credit report if you're in a community property state, I think. In my case, everything worked out. I stayed in my crappy rental for another month or 2, and then I began looking for a nicer rental because I wasn't trapped in the smaller rental. I just couldn't buy until I ended up divorced, and I rented a much nicer place, and we still moved. And then I eventually bought my house now, which is my dream home. So it all worked out. And no matter what you do and what you decide, everyone will be okay eventually. I would just encourage you to really think about how this is going to impact your children and your ability to settle your case. And you might use this opportunity. He wants something. He wants you to help him get this house. You might use this opportunity to see if you can't get a full agreement on all outstanding issues.